Simultaneous equations. So what we want to do here is we are trying to identify where two lines meet, at what coordinate they meet. So let's just think about for a moment about our x and y axes. Okay, if I have one line here, okay, and that's got an equation, and I have another line here with its own equation, when I'm solving simultaneously, I am trying to find the coordinate, the exact point where both of those lines meet. So that coordinate has an x value and a y value. And that's what we are trying to solve. So we want to look at this first algebraically. Later we'll look at, using Desmos, how to do it graphically. But that's what we're trying to find, is we're trying to find the solution, which means an x value and a y value, the coordinates where these two lines meet. So let's take our first two equations that we've got. And we have the equation x equals 14 take away 2y, and we've got the equation 3y plus 4x equals 31. So the method that I'm going to show you now is called substitution. Okay, I'll do elimination in the next video. So there's two methods that we can use to do this. In substitution, what we're trying to do, remember we've got two equations, they meet at a point, we're trying to find this x and y coordinate where they meet. In substitution, you'll always have an equation where x equals stuff or y equals stuff. So you've got a variable equals a bunch of stuff. And then you've got another equation. And what we know is that if x is equal to 14 minus 2y, then when I've got an x in this equation, I can substitute in place of x, I can put this expression here which is equal to x, so I can replace this x with 14 minus 2y because x is equal to that. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to call this equation 1 and this one equation 2 so that I can write down my instructions carefully. Okay, so I'm going to substitute equation 1 into equation 2. So I'm going to take equation 2, I'm going to write down 3y plus 4x equals 31. And now in place of that x, I'm going to replace it with this expression there. So 3y plus 4 bracket 14 minus 2y equals 31. So I've just replaced the x with this expression there. Notice I've put the brackets around it because this says 4 times x, so we're doing 4 times the expression that's equal to x. Now we need to do some expanding, so let's multiply that 4 by the pieces inside. So 3y plus, now 4 times 14 is going to be 56, minus 4 times 2y is 8y, equals 31. Now I want to have all the y's on the left hand side and all the numbers on the right hand side. So let's think, the 3y's on the left already, this 56 is not, so that's going to be moving to the other side. The minus 8y is already on the left and 31 is on the right hand side, so there's all good. So we just need to move that 56. So 3 lots of y take away 8 lots of y is going to leave us with negative 5 lots of y, is equal to the 31 that's already there, and that 56 moves across and becomes take away 56. So minus 5y is equal to 31 take away 56, and 31 take away 56 is, what am I doing? 31 take away 56, my brain just gone completely blank. Alright, I'm at 31 and I'm subtracting 31 to get down to 0, and then I'm subtracting another, to make that into 56, I'm subtracting another 25, so I'm going down to negative 25. Okay, now I want to get rid of this negative 5 in front of the y, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5. That cancels to leave me with y equals negative divided by negative is positive, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. So that tells me y equals 5. Now let's just think, well, what does this mean? We have just found the y value where those two lines meet, and that y value is at 5. Have I finished solving it? No, I need to still find what that x coordinate is. So that's what we need to do now. So now my next step is I'm going to substitute y equals 5 back into equation number 1. Now why am I going to do equation number 1? Because if I substitute y equals 5 in here, I've already got the equation in the form x equals a bunch of stuff that I can just calculate. You could equally substitute it back in here and then rearrange and solve to find what the x is, and that will give you exactly the same coordinate. Okay, so you could use either, but just I'm looking at this going algebraically, this is an easier way for me to solve it. So equation number 1, x equals 14 take away 2y, and I'm substituting y equals 5 into that, so 14 minus 2 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10, so 14 take away 10 gives you x is equal to 4. Okay, am I finished yet? Nearly. I need to communicate my solution. Okay, so now we need to put this into a coordinate. So the coordinate point where the two lines meet, so two lines 1 and 2 meet, is at xy is equal to 4, 5. So now I've communicated my thinking, and there's my solution. So that's equation problem number example 1. Let's now have a look at example 2. So now I've got two different equations. I've got x plus 3y equals 1, and I've got y equals 3 minus x. So to use the substitution method, I'm looking for when one of the equations is variable equals a bunch of stuff. And in that case, I've got that here. I've got y is equal to a bunch of stuff. So that means in this equation here, I can replace that y with 3 minus x. So I'm going to call this equation 1 and this equation 2. And I am going to substitute equation 2 into 1. So there's my instruction, substitute equation 2 into equation 1. So I'm just going to write down equation 1, x plus 3y equals 1. And now in place of the y, I'm replacing that with 3 minus x. Now remember, that's 3 times y, so it's 3 times all of that. So let's expand out that now. So 3 times the 3 and the 3 times the minus x. So we're going to do x plus 3 times 3 is 9. Take away 3 times x is 3x equals 1. X is on the left, numbers on the right, so that 9 is going to be moved across to the other side. X, so that's 1 lot of x. Take away 3 lots of x gives me negative 2 lots of x equals 1. Take away 9. So negative 2x is equal to, 1 take away 9 is minus 8. So x is equal to, remember minus 2x, I've got to divide both sides by minus 2. Cancels to leave me with x equals, negative divided by negative is a positive, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So there is my x value where these two lines meet. Am I finished? No. I now need to find what the y coordinate is. So now I'm going to substitute x equals 4 into equation 2. Now I'm going to do that simply because that's already in the form y equals stuff, which I'm trying to find the y, so that's an easier one for me to use. So y equals 3 take away x. So if x is 4, I'm going to replace that x with the number 4, and 3 take away 4 is negative 1. Now I need to write this solution down. So I'm going to say the coordinate point where equation 1 and 2 meet is at x comma y is equal to 4 comma negative 1. And there's my solution.